Hey, it's Brian Mudd, and this is my cheat sheet for Tuesday, May 8th. Alright, let me start with T-Mobile and what they're trying to do to get on board with the iPhone. Right now, you can buy an iPhone, have it unlocked, and then put it on T-Mobile at 2G speed. Now, this is the equivalent of like paying for a broadband internet setup, and you get dial-up speed, and you go, hey, but I got a really awesome computer. If only I actually had the speed to like pull something up online on it. It's a really bad idea. I've known people that have done this just to get around the 2-year contract. Look, it's not worth it. An iPhone is a piece of technology. Use it the way it's supposed to be. To that end, T-Mobile is going to spend $4 billion building out their 4G LTE network because it's a given that the next generation iPhone that's going to come out later this year is going to be 4G LTE capable. The only question is, it looks like the soonest T-Mobile can build out their network to be able to get on board with the iPhone would be the fourth quarter of this year. And will that be quick enough for Apple to consider putting T-Mobile on board? If this happens, it's good news for two reasons. Number one, now rather than just having 3 choices, you have 4. That's obviously more competition. But the other thing, too, is remember that Sprint is the only one offering an unlimited plan. T-Mobile has been the low-cost provider of cellular services. In other words, they're likely to put increased pricing pressure on all of the plans for by far the most popular smartphone in the market. Be interesting to see what happens with this throughout the course of this year. Talk stock ownership for a moment. 46%. That's it. Fewer than 1 in 2 households now own stocks. This used to be as high as 75%. Perhaps as the president decided to engage in class warfare and take shots at Wall Street and entertain the ideas of folks like Occupy Wall Street. Maybe that actually hurt, in addition to all the turmoil we've seen, people's overall confidence in the stock market. And look, having 100% of your money in stocks at any given time is not necessarily a great idea, even if you're very young. And certainly by the time you get older in age. I'm all about scaling back the portfolio, unless you're using dividend income coming out of stocks. But here's the thing. The stock market historically is hands down the best investment class of anything. The average annual return in the stock market is 8%. For all the turmoil, it returns on average 8%. The next closest thing is real estate, which yields under 4% per year on average. There's nothing even close. So that we now are in a place to where you can't count on Social Security, you can't count on Medicare, and we're scared to be in the best investment class. And now fewer than 1 in 2 households are involved, which, by the way, unemployment plays largely into this, because remember that the most common form for a household to be invested in stocks is through a 401k plan. Obviously, if people aren't working, they're not participating. Anyway, slice this. It's not good news. We need to be engaged and get smarter about stocks. And if you're scared to get involved, that's fine. Get a good investment advisor and have them walk you through it. But you don't, especially earlier in life, want to be locked out of the investment class that's going to double your returns over the next best thing historically. By the way, Warren Buffett, for his part, he actually said that he is actively buying stocks on dips right now. Warren, he's made a few good calls during the course of his time. Entrepreneurship. Talk about this real quick. Last week I had a story that might have surprised you. Of any 10-year age range, the majority, by a plurality, of people that were starting new companies were older folks. People between 55 and 64, about 22% of all startups are coming from people 55 to 64. However, those trends are quickly moving back to the young end, in part out of necessity. We have something stunning that's been playing out that I was telling you about a couple weeks ago. Of the 2011 graduating class from college, the underemployment rate is 52%. Unemployment is around 25%, and then you have about 27% that are working part-time out of last year's college graduating class. How nuts is that? It's probably not a surprise to you then that we're actually seeing that about 29% of all people between the age of 20 and 34 are now considering a startup of some sort, in large part out of necessity. Now, this is all good if they can make a go of it. What's even more problematic, though, is that if they come out with a ton of student loan debt, they're taking on more debt to try a startup and it fails. So if this is going to be you or your kids, make sure you have a good game plan, business plan in place before you take on any additional debt. Though I can appreciate as much as anybody starting a company at a young age. All right, that is the cheat sheet for today. Plenty more on the physical cheat sheet. Enjoy yours. We will see you tomorrow.